Hello and welcome back to my channel, Craft Time by Casey. I am Casey. And today, these are the two toggle clasp bracelets that I will be making. Most of the components came from the dollar bead box, and of course I also get the dollar bead bag. If you are interested in the dollar bead box, I will have all the information in the description box below. I highly encourage you to check them out. They are of course part of the Dollar Bead Club. And when you check them out, you definitely want to use my code. That code is CRAFT2. And that code will get you $2 off your first month of a multi-month subscription. So if you would like to see how these bracelets came about, then stay tuned. Let's get right into it. I'm going to start with the tools that I will be using. I have one set of cutters. I'll be using a thread zap 2 and a size 10 beading needle. And I will also be using 8-pound fire line in the color Smoke, which is this black color. And I always try to get the 125 yards just because I go through it so quickly. Now for this project, I'll only be using my cutters, but I do want to briefly mention my tool set. It is the Casual Comfort tool set. And it is very high quality, very well made. And for me, my favorite thing is the size. For whatever reason, jewelry making tools tend to be a little bit smaller like this. And you can see the grips on it as well. And they certainly function, but for me, these tools just seem to be made for adult size hands. And at this point, I really can't imagine myself using anything else. So I will have these linked down below along with everything else I use that did not come from the bead box. And I will also link below the opening video I did for the dollar bead box and the dollar bead bag, and it will have a detailed description of everything that came from the bead box. And I have already made one of the bracelets in the pattern that I will be making today, also using the beads from the bead box. And here is what it looks like. And from my own stash, I will be using these 15-0 really pretty peach colored seed beads. I have already strung my needle with thread, and I have about an arm's length of thread. So I'm using the beads that came from the dollar bead bag and the dollar bead box. However, these are very common size beads. I have two different 4mm beads and then two different 3mm beads and a 15-0 seed bead. So these are relatively common size beads if you have them in your own stash and you did not get the bead box. So I'm going to start off by picking up 4 of the 4mm round beads and pull it all the way down. And I just need enough at the end to make a knot. I'm going to go back through all 4 and pull it through. And it should look something like this. And now I'm going to tie a knot on one end. Just a regular over-under knot like you're tying your shoes. And go again. And I'm going to take my cutters and that tail and go in as close as I can. And I'm going to take my thread zap, push that button, and then go in where that nub is and melt it down a little bit. And where I'm at right now is where I just made that knot. So I'm going to go through the next bead and I'm going to add a 15-0 in each space. So pick up one 15-0, go in the next one and go all the way around. Just like that. And here's what you should have. And I'm coming out of one of the 4mm beads. I have not gone through that 15-0. And I picked up 3 of the 3mm beads. And then I'm going to go through the end of the toggle clasp and pull it all the way down. And now I'm going to go back through just the top 3mm bead and pick up 2 more and go through the opposite side of the 4mm that I was coming out of. And I pick up a 15-0 and I'm going to go back around that clasp to secure it. So in one move, I've gone through all 3 of these and through the loop in the toggle clasp. And I'm going to go back through that one on the end and back down the other 2 3mm beads. And I pick up another 15-0 and go back through that 4mm bead. So now we have done the clasp on this side. We're going to make our way to the front to add on. So I'm going to go through the 15-0 the 4mm and the 15-0 on this side. And then I'm going to come out of the 4mm, not going through that 15-0. So the next few that I'm going to pick up, I have 5 of the other size 3mm, not the one you did on the clasp, but the other color. And then I have the other color of 4mm. So you're going to get the other color. And then 2 more of that same color of 3mm right there. And then push it all the way down. So now from here, you're going to go through the middle one of that 5. So here's where the 4mm is, count down 2, and you're going to go through that middle one, just like that. And pull it through. And then pick up 2 more of the same color 3mm and go through the opposite side of that 4mm on the end. So when you pull that through, you should have an X like this. And I pick up one 15-0, and I'm going to make my way back through that X, back up to the top, pick up another 15-0, go back through the 4mm, and we're going to go back through and put a 15-0 at these 2 corners as well. So pick up a 15-0, make your way back through, and back through the 2 right here, and another 15-0 at this corner, so you go through that 4mm, just like that. And now we just have to work our way up till we're coming out of this 4mm to add on. And then go back through the middle, through the 2 on the end. And we want to go through the 15-0 on the end here, through the 4mm, but not through the opposite 15-0. So now we are coming out right here at this 4mm to add on. So I pick up 3 more that are the same color as this 4mm, go through the opposite end, just like that. And this is the way we repeat all the way down. So I'm going to add a 15-0 in each corner, and then when I get back to the beginning, then I add this X the same way. So you're just alternating colors of the 4mm and then alternating colors of the 3mm in between. So as you can see here, in the one we're making now, we're at this point right here. Alternate colors and size all the way down. And we will meet back up to put on the opposite clasp. All right, here's where I am right now. I'm going to cut back in just to show how I have the color laid out and how to alternate back and forth. So going from the first 4mm size to the second one, just like that, back to that first 4mm size here. So it's alternating every other one, and then those 3mm, I have that second X right here, which is the first color that I used over here, alternating it every other one. So this is the order of the colors that I'm using laid out. So like I said, just alternating the colors every other one. So now we'll meet back up at the end. All right, so here it is. As you can see, it alternates between the different size 4mm and the different size 3mm, the different colors. So for me, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ovals complete right now. And then it'll be this one right here will be 7. And that's how long this will be when it's completed. So now we're adding the clasp. So I have just completed the last set of 4, and I have put through a 15mm in each corner, and I am coming out of that 4mm bead right there at the top. So this right here is the last color that I used in 3mm, so I'm picking up 3 of the opposite color right here, and I'm pushing it down. So I'm going to take the opposite end of the clasp, put the needle through, and then down at the other end, I'm going to go through that first one. And it should look something like that. And I pick up 2 more, go through the opposite side of that 4mm, pull it through, and then it looks like that. So now I'm going to add a 15mm seed bead in each corner. Let's pick up one 15-0, go back up. So in one go, I'm going through all 3 of these 3mm and through the loop at the top. I'm going to go back down the 3mm at the point and down the other side. And I pick up my last 15-0, go back through that 4mm. And there, that's all of the beads. So now all we have to do is tie it off. So I'm gonna go down. I'm not gonna go back up through the clasp part. I'm gonna go down the 15-0, that 4mm, and the following 15-0. And I'm coming out right there, and I'm gonna go through the middle of this square, and then take my needle through the loop I just made, and pull it kind of snug. And I'm gonna do that one more time, make a knot, through the loop, and pull it snug. So now I'm gonna take my cutters, get as close as I can with that thread, and I'm gonna take my thread zap, push that button, and melt that down a little bit. Just like that. And there it is. And as you can see, both ends of the clasp. And here are both of them side by side. So I'm gonna set them up on the display so we can see them better. All right, so here they are. And I have to say, I'm really happy with how they came out. I love this pattern, and it's, of course, a very simple kind of back and forth between different shapes and different colors, and I think it turned out really nice. So once again, if you are interested in the dollar bead box or the dollar bead bag, or like me, you're interested in both, I will have all the information in the description box below. I highly encourage you to go check them out. And when you do, you definitely want to use my code. That code is CRAFT2, and that code will get you $2 off your first month of a multi-month subscription. So if you like this video and you want to see other videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and give me a like. Leave a comment. I absolutely love reading my comments. You guys are so kind. And I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.